Happy Thanksgiving to all those out there from the Saxton podcast. We're back with a full week of action, coming off our worst weekend since week 2 at 6-8. How you doing, Deuce?
Little hurt over that, but I think this is an underrated week of the year. I like the sports week a lot.
I agree. We got a full slate of NBA tonight, followed by all the football you could want for the next couple days.
Little disappointed with the actual games tomorrow, the NFL games, but at least it's on.
Excitement level for Tiger Phil, now that we're 2 days away.
I think I was the same as you. I'm pretty sure I was not even contemplating getting it. I watched the HBO special and it intrigued me a little bit. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say my excitement level is 3.5. Which is way more than I thought it would be.
I'm seeing Tiger minus 200, Phil plus 175. You lean either way.
I have a bet in. I have $50 on Phil plus 180. I got that about 10 days ago.
Wow. Are you confident in that?
I just think, Tiger had a really good year. Phil also won this year. I think people forget about that. I think the Ryder Cup is in people's heads. This is what Phil lives for. If you're picking some sort of event that he's going to play his best at, I would think it'd be something like this.
Yeah, I agree. This is more of his Ballywick. This doesn't seem like this is Tiger's style of play.
Tiger could care less if he wins or loses this.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think the course sort of sets up for Phil. I think he's going to hit a lot of wedges, and if you're looking at a wedge player with money on the line, I think Phil is your guy.
A good course for TV viewing purposes.
Yeah, Joe Blow will love it. It's in the middle of the desert, but everything's green, fake waterfalls, crap like that. It's not my style, but if you are anti-native, then this is your spot.
Well, let's start. College football starts tomorrow night. Egg Bowl, 18th ranked Mississippi State goes to Ole Miss. Opened 8.5 up to 11.
I always forget this is called the Egg Bowl. I wanted to like Mississippi State here. The public's heavily on them, and that line has jumped. At least it's going in the right way. That would be my lean, but I sort of wanted that under 10. 11's sort of no man's land for me.
Mississippi State has scored 10 points on the road in SEC play.
What does Mississippi score in SEC play?
They're going to have opportunities to score on this Mississippi defense, but I was shocked to see that.
Yeah, that is surprising, especially for a team that's ranked.
The Dog is 5-1 against the spread in this series, the last 6. Mississippi State 2-6-1 their last 9 trips to Oxford.
So you like the 11?
I do not. I would lean with the squares.
This is a stay away from me.
Friday action, 14th ranked Texas headed to the Big 12 championship. They go to Kansas. How do you feel about Les Miles in Kansas?
I think it's a home run for Kansas. I think it's a strikeout looking for Les Miles. This is bizarre. I don't know. Maybe he just wants security because he's not going to get fired there for a few years, no matter what he does. Less pressure. I don't know. I don't get it from his perspective, but Kansas is never going to get anyone like him, so home run for them.
Can he make them a competitor in the Big 12? I'm not talking yearly.
I don't know. My first thought was yes, because he's going to play a different brand than every other team, and I think that actually might be a good thing. Everyone just tries to outscore everybody. I think if he kind of adds that defensive mentality, punch in the face, that could disrupt some teams. So I think so. My worry is, though, that he doesn't even pay attention to the offense like he did at LSU, and they it kind of lags behind because he's not getting the same kind of defensive talent that he did at LSU.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see somebody go defensive in the Big 12, but I think you hit it correctly that offense, you need to still score.
Yeah, I have no problem with him trying. I think he's going to be shocked at the difference between a 1-star and a 5-star defensive tackle, though.
This line is 15.
Texas has nothing to play for. I think that's why you're seeing this line so low. Kansas is bad, though. We've dabbled on them before, and it didn't go well, so I'm going to stay away.
I'm staying away as well. The 9th-ranked UCF Knights trying to complete the undefeated season. They go to USF, open 13.5 up to 14.
Is there a path for UCF to get in?
No.
0%.
0.
They're obviously playing the disrespect card. They look good against Cincinnati. I was shocked at how well their defensive line played. And I've been against them all year. I think I might dabble on them here. I know the public's going to be all over them. 14 seems low, though, against a USF team that's not good.
Yeah, I wish it was somebody other than USF. They come off probably the biggest game in school history, having game day there. And now it's a letdown spot, but they're playing USF. I have to imagine there's a lot of players on these rosters that are familiar with each other. You're going to want to beat each other. I think the line's pretty good, though.
Is it letdown, though, if they have to win this game by 50 for people to even take them seriously?
That's a good point. It always comes back to me, they have a quarterback who could throw the ball.
Yeah.
So even if you come out a little flat, you're still going to have the opportunity to score with Melton.
I lean the Knights. I'm shocked that I do, but I think they have to win this game by 30. I think they're playing with that kind of mentality still, so I'll roll with them with the 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it would be a slight lean for me, UCF. Probably one of the better games of the weekend. Big implications. 6th-ranked Oklahoma goes to 13th-ranked West Virginia. Oklahoma 2.5-point road favorites.
Crushing defeat for West Virginia last week. I thought they were going to pull that out, a little Mountaineer magic, but did not. I like the Mountaineers here. I think they are going to want to play spoiler. Obviously, there's potential for a who cares letdown spot here, but I think Oklahoma coming into town will mean a lot to the fans. They can still get a Big 6 bowl. I think that's pretty important to a program like West Virginia. Their offense is going to score whenever they want. The weather should be cold, which I think favors them as well. I'm not sure Kyler Murray has played in a ton of shitty weather. If I'm picking a better defense, I think it's West Virginia's.
You hit it. They have the better defense. Oklahoma's got issues with their running backs. They might be playing their 3rd or 4th string running back. Oklahoma has not been great on the road. They went to Iowa State and won, but just by 10. Struggled against Texas Tech on the road. I like West Virginia.
Why?
I think Will Grier should probably get invited to New York based on this performance.
I think Will Grier will outplay Kyler Murray here.
I'm ready for the West Virginia official.
Love it.
Cheers, beers, and Mountaineers.
Yes.
West Virginia plus 2.5.
Shout out to Rusty Stobbs.
He'll probably be at the Golden Horseshoe for this game.
Yes.
Another good one, 8:30 Friday night. 16th ranked Washington, 8th ranked Washington State, Apple Cup. Washington State opened 3. It's down to 2.5.
I have a feeling we might differ on this one. I'm going to go with the upset, outright, money line, whatever you want to do. I think the matchup here just plays into the Huskers' favor. I think Peterson has seen Leach enough to know what's coming. Washington's strength is their secondary. I think the Cougars are going to struggle with the length and the size of the Washington DBs. I know Browning's been bad, but it's not like the Washington State defense is very good. I'm going to roll with the upset here.
If I have to pick the game, I'm going to lean Wazoo, but I don't suggest a play either way. Peterson's not great as a dog, which surprised me when I looked into it. Washington's had a ton of success at Wazoo the past 9 meetings, 7-2 against the spread, 4-0 the last 4. Washington State's defense is better than I think people think. And I do not trust Jake Browning.
Yeah, it's hard to trust him. I just can't. I don't know what it is. I can't get him out of my head. I just think they're going to win this game.
So you're right. We do differ. No play there. Noon Saturday. Interested to hear your thoughts on the big game at the Shoe. 4th-ranked Michigan, 10th-ranked Buckeyes. Michigan opened 3.5, up to 4.5. 5 months ago, you could have got Michigan plus 7.5.
I've watched a ton of Ohio State this year. I can't. There's no way I can get behind them. I know they're the right play from a capping perspective, but I think Michigan is just better in almost every facet. The only facet they're not better in is Haskins is a way better thrower of the football than Patterson is, but I'm just so unimpressed with every facet of Ohio State's game. I think if Michigan can, stick to the receivers, if the refs let them play physical, I think Michigan wins this game by 10 or so. I don't put much stock into Michigan's game last week. I think they walked through that thing. I do put stock in Ohio State's game last week because they stink. I know it's probably the square play, and I said I liked Ohio State last week, but just another week of seeing how shitty that defense is, how bad both lines are. If Harbaugh can't get it done here, then what are we doing?
Does Michigan have the offense to exploit the Ohio State defense?
They should have just run it down their throats. Did you see what Maryland did last week?
I think Maryland, though, spreads it out and has a little bit more speed than Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good point. People, I think, underestimate the athletes Maryland has.
That's my issue with Michigan, is they run the 1940 antique formations.
Yes, that plays into Ohio State's hands where, they don't have to run sideline to sideline.
It comes down to Ohio State's offense against Michigan's defense to me. Ohio State averaging 360 through the air. Michigan only giving up 123 per game through the air. But when I looked at the schedule, Michigan has not played an offense who could throw the ball.
Nope.
Urban's 6-0 against the spread as a dog.
I know.
I got to go Ohio State.
I know, it's the right play. I know. It's, I just can't get the last 2 Ohio State games out of my head. One thing I noticed last week, the Ohio State back 7 specifically, they were scared to tackle anybody. They wanted no part of tackling.
Yeah, I think that is the most surprising thing about Ohio State this year is their lack of physicality.
And you're going against Michigan, who probably is the most physical team in the country right now. Well, in the Big Ten, I guess.
I think, to me, it's going to come down to turnovers, obviously, but who scores touchdowns in the red zone?
Yeah.
We both watched probably almost all, if not all, of that Ohio State-Maryland game. What are the chances, scale of 0 to 100%, that Urban Meyer is back on the sidelines next year?
I kind of thought it was all smoke. Kind of just people wanting that narrative. Oh, Urban's doing it again. He looked like shit last week. Just physically.
Yep.
Looks terrible. Just as a human, I was worried about him on the sideline. He was shaking. He's holding his head. It just looked weird and bad. I would say not good for next year. I don't know. It's taking a toll on him for sure. It
seems like they're going to have a ton of turnover on that defense, too. I think if he's stepping away based on talent, next year's...
it wouldn't, if he steps away after this, if let's say they lose this game significantly, by 10, 15, whatever, steps away after the game, 6 months from now, maybe USC is his dream job.
Is there still a path if Ohio State wins this week and then against Northwestern?
Sure, yeah. Why not? I know the committee is down on them, but I think this game, that's maybe the most impressive win on anyone's schedule. I think they'll get credit for that.
Again, the committee does themselves no favors. I'm not sure if you watched the show, but I saw bits and pieces. The comment that they make that Ohio State is still where they are because of their defense. But then Oklahoma is...
Right.
I don't get it.
They should just stop explaining themselves.
I agree.
They calls.
I agree. Moving along, 5th-ranked Georgia gets their date with Bama next week, but this week they get the triple option in Georgia Tech. Line is 17.
I don't know where to go. I wanted to lean Georgia here. Tech sometimes plays them tough, though. It kind of just depends on the year if you look back at the past results. I like Mark Ricks better against the option. He just seems to have more success with it. Kirby, didn't see it a ton at Alabama, so I'm not sure. We have a small sample size, obviously, with him. So to me, this is just kind of a stay away.
I like Georgia Tech. Road team
You've been good with them this year.
15-2-1 against the spread. The road team, Georgia Tech 5-1-1 against the spread. Their last 7 at Georgia. I think Georgia obviously needs to win this game to still keep their playoff hopes alive.
Sure.
But there has to be coaches working on Alabama already.
Yes.
And
17 is a big, healthy number, too.
You get not a short week, but no bye last week to get ready for this triple option. I don't like that Georgia Tech can't throw the ball and they're so one-dimensional.
They can never throw it, though.
But I lean Tech.
That's fair, yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
A game that surprisingly does not mean much. 11th-ranked Florida goes to Florida State. Florida opened 4. It's up to 6.
This is one of those really squarey-berry plays that I sort of like. I'm just going to I know it burned us last week. The line moved after the pod in the wrong direction against Boston College. I caught the end of that game. Boston College still should have won.
Yep.
Sort of a bad beat there, but I'm going to bet against Florida State again. I know all these players in these rivalry games know each other. They all get up. But to me, this is just physically, Florida is way better. If Franks can just do anything, I think Florida wins this game going away.
If he doesn't turn it over, there shouldn't be very many reasons why Florida State could win this game. Just some quick trends. Road team 6-1 against the spread. Favorite 9-2 against the spread. I agree with you. It's certainly a square play, but what has Florida State shown that proves they can win against Florida, who has a good defense?
Yeah, exactly. Florida State does nothing well. Nothing.
Official.
Sure, why not?
Florida -6.
Why not?
20th ranked Syracuse goes to BC. BC 7-point favorites. Last I saw, Dungy still questionable.
Yeah, I can't really pick this game without Dungy's status. You would have to think Syracuse totally deflated. I kind of like BC here, but I don't know if they should be giving anyone 7.
Agree. Back-to-back losses, Clemson, Florida State. I do think they bounce back. The Dungy question mark, though, is pretty big.
If he's out and it stays 7, then I could probably get behind BC.
Agree. Iron Bowl at Alabama. First-ranked Crimson Tide, 24.5-point favorites against Auburn.
I think I like Alabama a lot here. I thought this should be 30 if you're just taking the name off of Auburn.
I think it's a good line.
Oh my God, Auburn! I just can't. I don't know. They've been bad this year. I know they've gotten up for a couple of games, but they've really been bad.
I mean, if I have to lean, I lean Bama.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I can make it an official, but this is one of those games where Alabama has something to play for, and they win those games by 40 usually.
Yeah, I think even though they won 50-13 last week, they were not sharp against the Citadel.
No, they didn't care about that game.
No, absolutely not. But I think that plays into Saban exactly what he wants.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a lean Bama, but I don't feel great about it.
Fair enough.
Maryland goes to 12th ranked Penn State. Penn State 13.5-point favorites.
Love Penn State here. Love.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I can go back to the well another time.
Maryland should have beat Ohio State. They went for it all. They lost. I know they're playing for Jordan McNair throughout the year, but that had to be crushing. You would assume lame duck staff. Penn State's final home game of the year, right? McSorley's final home game.
Yep.
So, under 2 touchdowns if this was a regular line, a month ago, 2 months ago, this is probably Penn State 21-ish, 20-ish. So I think there's a nice discount built in.
The only issue I have is McSorley is not 100%, and he's holding the offense back.
Oh, 100%. He's definitely hobbled. Hasn't looked good. Their offense is sputtered, but you got to put it all on the line this week, right?
I'll put it to the side. This could be a teaser candidate.
Right.
Illinois goes to 19th ranked Northwestern. They get a date in the Big Ten title next week. Opened 18, down to 17.
Illinois is absolutely dreadful. I thought maybe Iowa looked good last week. I just hate backing Iowa because they can't score, but they absolutely pounded Illinois. Northwestern, not the same pedigree. They don't really have anything to play for. Kind of scaring me away here, but Illinois should be bet against if the line is under 20 automatically.
That look ahead next week has scared me.
Right, exactly.
I feel this is a week Northwestern goes through the motions.
It has to be.
So it's no play for me, but if you have to make a play, it's Northwestern.
You're scaring me there. I thought you were about to take the...
No way. 24th ranked Pitt goes to Miami. Miami opened 5.5. It's down to 5.
I was pretty wrong about Pitt last week. I don't have a feel for them, so I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, that went back and forth all game. Pitt pulled away in the third quarter. I thought that was a really good spot for Wake Forest. I just think Miami's so much more athletic than Pitt.
Yeah.
And Pitt gets Clemson next week.
I mean, a ranked team versus an unranked team, and the ranked teams getting points is always smelly.
I know. I like Miami.
That's the way I would lean too, I think.
I hate that I'm going to go with Rozier again. They would rather just run the Wildcat the whole game, and they would probably cover the spread.
I'm okay with Miami, actually, now that we're talking this out.
Official, or do you want to see where this line goes and see if we can even get it lower?
Is Rozier even playing? I think Rozier is on the bench.
They've gone back and forth the past couple weeks because the backup's not much better. Perry, I think, is his last name.
So it doesn't matter to you.
5's not a key number, so I'm willing to wait if you want.
All right. Yeah, let's wait.
South Carolina goes to second-ranked Clemson. Open 25 up to 26.5.
South Carolina can't score, and Clemson is really hitting its stride. I kind of like the big favorite here. I think, there's motivation just because in-state rivalry. It's not like they're going to play anyone in the ACC title game. There's no look ahead in my mind. I think they win this game by 40.
Yeah, I don't know how South Carolina moves the ball against that front seven of Clemson.
Yeah, legit, I think 26.5. I think this game comfortably could be 38-3. No problem.
As long as Clemson feels like playing, it should be a cover.
Exactly.
It's a lot of points.
Teaser with Penn State.
I'll put it on the side just in case there's another one. But yeah, I think that's a good candidate. Kentucky, 15th ranked, goes to Louisville. Open 17.5 down to 17.
I have a star against a few teams. Florida State's one of them. Louisville's another. They are... I can't even describe how bad they are. Obviously, coach fired. Nothing to play for. They probably just want to get done with the season. I don't love Kentucky, but I think their running game, it doesn't really matter if that's all they can do. I don't think Louisville is in the business of wanting to tackle people at this point of the year.
Is there any fight left in Louisville just being in-state rival?
I don't know. I don't think you can be that bad and want to fight.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be Kentucky or nothing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Enough as an official, or?
I don't know right now.
Yeah, my worry is I don't know if Kentucky can score enough.
God, Louisville's so bad.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think the number is going to move very far.
All right, I'll start. The Fighting Snyders, good win last week and maybe his last home game. Go to 25th ranked Iowa State. Open 14, Iowa State now 13.5 point favorites.
I think this is a really good number. Stay away from me.
I think it's too many points. K-State's still playing to go to a bowl game. They've been really bad on the road, though. They've actually owned Iowa State. I don't think they've lost in like 12 years. I would lean K-State, but I would not make it an official.
If they were home and the line was like 9.5, I think I'd like them more than on the road.
Yeah.
13.5. Just them on the road I don't like.
7th ranked LSU goes to 22nd ranked A&M. A&M opened 1, it's up to 3.
Oh, man. I think I like LSU here. I don't know why. I'm a sucker for them. I think they have the best unit on the field. I think their defense is the best unit. A&M's D-line is sneaky good, which would worry me here making this an official. But LSU's been pretty good on the road this year.
Yeah, I do think LSU has the best unit on the field, but I don't know how LSU moves the ball against Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's a problem.
All LSU's road game have been close. I expect this to be the same.
If this were to hit 3.5, how would you feel?
I'm on A&M. At 3.5, I probably just am neutral then.
Yeah.
I'm at A&M. If it went to 2.5, I would really like A&M.
Yeah, I just have a feeling this game is going to be a 3-point game.
Yeah. 3rd ranked Notre Dame goes to USC. Open date up to 11.
I want everything in me to like USC. I need to be talked into it though.
This is the first week I think I've loved Notre Dame.
Yeah, I just hate Notre Dame so much I want to bet against them. But they didn't have to work at all against Syracuse last week. So I think it's not like they're going to be down for this game.
I know, I'm with you. I really want USC to... I mean, they need a win to go to a bowl game, which is ridiculous.
Do they want to go to a bowl game, though? It's just another month of practicing.
I mean, certainly JT Daniels needs another month to practice.
What are they doing? He stinks.
Clay Helton is 10-12. I know he's not a good coach, but he's 10-12 without Sam Darnold at USC.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
His home record, though, is pretty good.
They do have the defense, especially the secondary, to contain Book. But Notre Dame's so balanced, I just can't see.
So they're going to run it down their throat.
Yeah. I think Notre Dame wins this by 2 touchdowns or more.
Official.
I love the Irish this week.
Official. Do it.
Notre Dame -11. BYU goes to 17th ranked Utah for the Holy War. Open 13.5. Utah now a 12-point favorite.
I slightly lean to BYU. That game in Colorado last week was snowball. I'm surprised at how well Utah has played without their starting quarterback, starting running back. It has to catch up to them eventually. That's why I have a slight lean to BYU with the points.
I think so. Rivalry game, backup quarterback. I would agree with you. And then we get a good one Saturday night. Winner gets Fresno State in the Mountain West Championship. 21st ranked Utah State goes to 23rd ranked Smurf Turpin Boise. Boise open 3. It's down to 2.5.
Utah State almost got caught looking ahead last week against Colorado State. That game was close till the very end.
They've been a cover machine until last week.
I think I like Utah State. I'm going to disregard last week. I think they were looking ahead. They were sleepy, especially on defense. They're a really good defensive team. They kind of let Colorado State move the ball on them, especially in the first half. I know Boise State's been good, especially on the turf. Something about this Utah State team I like. They're really scrappy and ratty. I'm going to say they get it done.
Yeah, I think the wrong team is favored, and I think it's a good thing for the Utah State backers because Boise State is not a great home favorite. The road team's been great in this series, 7-2-2 against the spread. I like Utah State a lot.
Agreed.
Utah State plus 2.5.
Do it.
Off the board plays for you.
This card is so small this week, I don't have any off-board plays yet.
I got a couple. The two that I like the most, first, Stanford -7 at UCLA. Shaw has owned Chip Kelly. Stanford, an open week last week because of the fires in California. UCLA off their biggest win in years, beating USC. I love Stanford. Iowa -10 against Nebraska. I know Nebraska's been really good of late, but I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw in Iowa. Other games I like, but not as much. NC State -7 against Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina's been bad.
Wisconsin, just because of how bad Minnesota is, -10.5 at home. I think they run the ball all over Minnesota. I hate giving 10.5 with those quarterbacks, though, for
Wisconsin. That's a good
Wisconsin.
teaser candidate, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Wake, I feel like I don't want to go back to this well, but plus 11.5 at Duke. Duke, not a great home favorite. Wake needs a win to go to a bowl.
That's a scary one.
Yeah, I don't really know if I can go back to that well, though. And then Virginia, -4.5 against Vatech. Virginia hasn't won this series in years, and they're legit this year. Vatech, awful.
Awful.
I like Virginia.
I have one, actually, now that I'm looking at some of the current lines. I think the lines are pretty sharp. I don't know if it's because there's less games. I kind of like the Fighting Herm Edwards in the Arizona Bowl.
What is that line?
1.5, I believe, is current line in Arizona.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Arizona just got blown out and they need a win for a bowl. Those are the only two things that I don't like about it.
Yeah, I just don't. I think not a big team, but unless it's a small program, I'm not sure going to any bowl is really that big of a deal.
Yeah. I want to see if that line moves at all.
I expect it to. I think we'll see it move.
If it gets to 2.5, we'll jump on it before it gets to 3. But I kind of do like Arizona State as well.
Yep.
Penn State, Wisconsin teaser.
I like that one, yes.
Or Clemson.
I think, I like all three. But I like your point about Minnesota. I just think they're really bad.
So Wisconsin -4.5, Penn State -7.5.
I mean, that seems pretty comfortable, right? Is Wisconsin the worry? Is that the?
I think I'd be more worried about State.
No. Get out of here.
Then let's do it. Wisconsin -4.5, Penn State -7.5.
I mean, the 7.5 is tough, I guess, but you know Penn State better than I do. I can't see Maryland being up for this game.
Yeah, no, I think it's a terrible spot. My only worry is just McSorley's health.
Is Penn State good against the run? I should have looked that up.
Yeah, they've been decent against the run this year.
Well, that's all they have to stop because Maryland literally can't throw the ball. Not figuratively, literally can't throw it.
All right, we'll do it. 5 plays for the week. West Virginia +2.5, Florida -6, Notre Dame -11, Utah State +2.5, Wisconsin -4.5, Penn State -7.5 tees. We'll tweet any other officials.
Like that.
To the NFL, guess the lines. You have a 4-2-4 lead on the year. Your thoughts on what we saw last Sunday, but interested to hear your thoughts, especially on Monday.
Yeah, I'd rather just stick to Monday because that's what everyone's talking about anyway. I don't know if that's good for the NFL. It was exciting to watch, but it wasn't good football. If you're talking about good football, there's a ton of mistakes. It wasn't good offense. There was a ton of blown cover. That was not good offense. Terrible defense, more so. And I think there's an in-between. I'm not saying every game should be 9-6, but last year's Super Bowl was a good offense, but there was also some key defensive plays that were not mistakes. They were actual good defensive plays.
I agree with you completely on that. Did that expose the Rams at all, in your eyes?
What's that?
Did that expose the Rams in the NFC playoffs?
That's who I thought they were anyway.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time believing they're going to go on the road and beat anybody. And I think it's a disadvantage playing in LA because anyone's going to go in there and be fine.
Of these 3 teams, if you're a Rams fan, are you afraid to play any of them? Carolina, Seattle, Chicago.
I'm definitely scared of Seattle and Carolina. Chicago's more interesting. Obviously, you don't want to go to Chicago, but I don't hate the matchup against Chicago.
I just don't know if they can score points on the road.
Yeah.
Who is the second best team in the AFC?
Besides the Chiefs?
Yeah.
The Steelers, I think.
It's amazing.
I guess, right? Yeah, I think the Steelers right now, if you're picking Denver, England, you're Pittsburgh, then versus the Chargers, you're taking Pittsburgh, right?
Against the Chargers, I like the Chargers more, but I hate Anthony Lynn.
I know.
And it's amazing to me that Vance Joseph outcoached somebody last week.
And the Chargers new kicker missed an extra point again.
Speaking of extra points, your thoughts on Ron Rivera going for 2?
I like it. I don't mind it at all. I think if Cam had just put his head down, he would have gotten it.
Yeah, the guy was open too. Cam didn't make a great throw.
Cam had a good game. I thought he played well. They should have gotten it. I like the call. I think percentage-wise, it was the right call.
I'm one to lose being aggressive, but I don't know if I liked it or not.
Interesting.
Because I just think Carolina's the better team.
Right, so you're more confident in overtime.
I would have took my chances in overtime.
He's a defensive guy, so I'm assuming he didn't like how his defense was playing and just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah, the only thing going against my point is Gano certainly was struggling.
Oh my God, he's been awful.
Yeah. Now that we've seen some data and a couple years of it, do you like the extra point being 32 yards?
Love it.
I agree. I didn't think I would like it.
Whole new element to the game.
Do you expect that we're going to start seeing more and more teams go for 2?
Yeah, kicking seems to be declining, so I don't see why not. I think the more analytics get into the game, the more you'll see people go for 2.
To me, it seems like a lot of good lines this week, so it'll be intriguing to hear your thoughts. We got 3 Thursday games, starting with the traditional Detroit at noon. Chicago in town off their big win. I said Bears minus 3.5.
I said 6. I did not know that Trubisky was hurt.
I get it. Open 3. It's still 3.
Looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. He did not practice yesterday. I've not seen today's reports. You know, it's hard for me to lean either way with him not playing. If he's that banged up and it's his right shoulder, I think I read, which is throwing shoulder, then I might lean Detroit.
I want to like Detroit so bad.
I know.
Chicago just beat them 11 days ago by 12. Now they're only given 3 points.
Yeah.
Bears have won 4 in a row and probably their biggest win in years on Sunday night. An even shorter week for them, plus a noon game on Thursday. They're 2-2 on the road. Their 2 wins on the road are Buffalo and Arizona. They lost to Green Bay early in the year. Rodgers played a quarter, and they lost to Brock Osweiler on the road.
Yeah, I if we can get the half here would be what I would really, really want.
The concern I have is Detroit is really banged up.
What's new? They're always banged up.
Kerryon Johnson out, Marvin Jones doubtful, and then 4 defensive guys questionable: A'Shawn Robinson, Darius Slay, Snacks Harrison, and Ziggy Ansah.
Wow, those are the 3 best players on that side.
Crazy.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were.
They're all questionable. I would expect some of them to play, but
to me, Slay and Ansah are huge. That's their number 1 corner, number 1 pass rusher. So for me, it's stay away until I hear more about it.
Yeah, I agree. 4:30, I believe it kicks off in Dallas. Your Bravehearts go to Dallas. I said Dallas minus 10.
I said 10 as well. Oh, wait, what did I say? I said 9.
You got it exactly. It's down to 7.
7 is crazy. At 7, I think I lean Dallas. I think the injuries are just piling up at a rate that is unsustainable for what probably should have won last week.
Absolutely.
It goes back to 7.5, though. I don't mind Colt McCoy in this game. They're going to be the same team with him as they were with Alex Smith. So to me, it's not really a big difference.
I think the short week actually helped Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's started and won a game in Dallas before.
A Monday night game.
Yeah, so to me, that's not even. The offense is going to be the same no matter what. And to me, that does not move the line at all. If Washington stopped the run, I think they win the game outright. 7.5, if we can find, I think I like Washington.
I think they do stop the run. And
yeah.
Do you trust Dak Prescott to make enough plays?
I think there are plays to be made, especially in the middle of the field. Just not sure they have the tight end, or Cole Beasley, I think, is going to have a good game. He's the guy that I like in this matchup. But I'm not. I mean, how many points does that get you?
Washington's covered 9 of the last 11 in Dallas. I really want to like Washington. I don't think Dallas is even good enough to win 3 games in a row.
I hate backing my own team, but I think this line is too much.
I agree with you. At 7.5, I really like Washington.
Agreed.
The nightcap, Atlanta goes to New Orleans. I said Saints 10.5.
I said 10.
I got it. It opened 14. It's up down to 13.
14. Oh my God! What was the look-ahead line a month ago?
It had to be probably 9.5, 8,
Oh God!
somewhere in that range.
I just blindly I like Atlanta. I mean that's insane, but I'm not going to step in front of the New Orleans train right now.
3 weeks in a row scoring 45 plus points. When was the last time an NFL team did that?
I would assume it was the Pats with Randy Moss. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well. I did not see a stat on it, but can they keep this train going as is?
Yeah, we faded them thinking that that stretch of games there might be a sandwich spot. What if they were just up for those 3-game stretch and now is the actual letdown game?
Yeah.
This sort of, kind of feels like week 1 against Tampa. I think people forget about that game. The Saints, the Falcons are sort of built like Tampa.
Oh, well, I agree. I think Atlanta's going to score points. Philly fell behind. Philly was not equipped to beat them last week anyway, but Philly fell behind, became one-dimensional. Cincinnati playing with A.J. Green fell behind. They became one-dimensional. I think Atlanta can score points, and you go back 3 weeks, the Rams move the ball all over the Saints.
Yeah, I think this being in a dome helps Atlanta too.
Absolutely.
Different team on grass than they are dome. It's so many points. Atlanta's not awful. They're just banged up. I would lean with the points here.
Official?
What's it, 13 and a half? Is that what you said?
13 even.
Can we get it back to 14 or no? Giving Dave betters?
You have to think Joe Public's going to pour in on New Orleans.
That's what I'm thinking. Usually with a line, just like Dallas, if it starts high, there's always a chance it gets back there.
Yeah. I'll start it. To Sunday, Jacksonville goes to Buffalo. I said Jacksonville -6.
I said 2.
You got it. Open 3. Has remained 3. I was unaware that the Jaguars have lost 6 in a row.
Yep. 2, we know who the Bills' starting quarterback is.
I saw Anderson's questionable. We know it's not going to be Peterman.
Is it Barkley?
It's either going to be Barkley or Anderson.
Jags lost their Super Bowl last week. Now they have to go to literal frozen tundra and play a meaningless game Thanksgiving week against a horrific team. It'll be 5 degrees and snowing. I like Buffalo.
How Blake Bortles can't throw the ball in 80 and sun.
Right. I think for me, it's more a bet against the defense. I think this is one of those games where they put all their eggs into last week and chirped last week. I think the defense just nails it in.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Buffalo, despite being one of the worst teams record-wise, they play hard, especially defensively.
Their defense is okay.
Is this an official? Are we circling the wagons?
I think we are.
Bills +3, and I love it.
Love it too. I think that's amazing.
Cleveland goes to Cincinnati. I said Cincinnati -4.5.
I said 5.
I got it. It opened 3. It's still 3.
Man, I don't know which side I like here.
How amazing is it that Hugh Jackson is back?
Can't kill the guy. Gotta give him credit.
I want to lean Cleveland.
So do I, but I don't know. I think this is maybe the most stay away game I've ever seen.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
I don't like either side here.
AJ Green's doubtful, so
He just changes the whole complexion of that. And I know wide receivers. I wouldn't, unless it's Randy Moss. I agree with you about taking wide receivers that high in a draft or paying them. But he just changes the offense so much in Cincinnati that they're not even the same team without him.
I completely agree.
Yeah, stay away.
New England goes to the Jets. I said Pats 10.5.
I said 11.5.
I get it. Open 9.5, and it's remained 9.5.
Is Darnold out? Is he?
I have not seen. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Does that matter either way to you? He has not practiced yet this week, but they remain optimistic.
I'm not the biggest Darnold guy, but I can't decide if this is a one last stand for the coach or they've already folded up shop. I lean with already folded up shop. And New England obviously needs this game in the AFC because I know we say this every year, but I don't think New England's going on the road and beating a bunch of teams this year. So this game, I know it's so public, but I would lean New England.
Off a bye and a blowout loss, it's hard to go against them.
Exactly. I mean, I don't like seeing 88% on New England, but that's kind of the way the year's gone. These type of games have gone towards New England blowing them out like everyone thinks.
And surprisingly, I don't buy them, but the Dolphins are only 2 games out of first place.
Sneaky. Tannehill's back this week too, I think.
And Miami usually always gets New England at home.
Yeah.
Pats could be a good teaser candidate.
Totally agree. I lean them with the spread, especially under 10. I think that's fair, but totally agree about the teaser.
Giants go to Philly. I said Eagles minus 3.5.
I said 7.
You got it exactly. It's down to 6.
I mean, I think that's just a overreaction by you hating your team so much.
Nah, they're done.
They are done, but New York is now officially out of it, shockingly. But all of a sudden, people are thinking they've righted the ship. They beat the Niner and the Bucks. Like, what are we talking about here? I like Philly here. I'm going to keep riding the horse. It might be a dead horse, but I'm going to keep riding it.
Oh, it's dead. I don't know how they cover the Giants' receivers.
But the Giants can't throw it anyway.
Eli Manning's going to look like 31-year-old Eli again.
So you like the Giants?
I do. 7 points is too many.
I mean, that's probably right, but yeah, I don't know. The Eagles D-line usually is a different animal at home.
I will bet the Giants this weekend.
Okay. I'm not on them. I don't like it. I think the Giants stink.
San Fran goes to Tampa Bay. I said Bucks minus 4.
I said 4.5.
I got it. Open 3 up to 3.5.
I don't like either side of this game. The Bucks might be the right play just because of the West Coast 1 p.m. affected by the fire type situation, but I don't know.
Who's starting for Tampa?
I think it's Jameis.
Well, I mean, why don't they just play rock, paper, scissors on the sideline to see who goes out for each series?
But shouldn't this tell you something about Jameis if there's literally no difference between him and Ryan Fitzpatrick? Like, isn't that all you need to know?
If I'm Dirk Cutter, I just stand on the sidelines and say, what do you want me to do? I don't think he's a great coach, but this is what he's working with.
I agree.
And they have good receivers.
They have great receivers.
San Fran's defense has been surprisingly good. Stat-wise.
I just worry about Mullins on the road here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. This is another stay-away game.
I would lean Tampa, but very, very small.
Seattle goes to Carolina. I said Carolina 3.
I said the same thing.
We have it. Open 3 up to 3.5.
There's got to be some. I know these teams have played a bunch the last 5 years, and I should have looked up the results, and I'm sure you did.
I'll get it. I did look earlier, but I did not write them down. I'll bring it up right now.
Carolina back-to-back losses. I know these games are always close. I want to lean Seattle, but I think that's the wrong side.
Yeah, the 2 straight losses is pushing me towards Carolina.
Yeah, that's where I just have a hard-on for Seattle these past couple of weeks, but I think this is a must-win for Carolina to get back in the right frame. Seattle needs to win this game too.
They did not play last year. They played twice in 2016, with one being in the playoffs. Actually, they played twice in 2015, one being the playoffs. The last time they played, Seattle 40-7 win in 2016 in Seattle. The 2 games in 2015 season, Carolina won both of them.
Interesting. I think I lean Carolina now.
Yeah, I like Carolina. I think they bounce back.
They are a really bad road team, I've decided.
They're 5-0 at home.
Yep.
Official?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think there's a chance it gets back to 3?
Yeah, that's a good point. We might as well wait. 3.5 and 4 and 4.5 are all the same.
Okay. Oakland goes to Baltimore. I said Ravens 9.5.
I was unsure about quarterback, so I said 8.
I got it. Open 12 down to 10.5.
Boy, 10.5 with Lamar Jackson seems like a lot of points to be getting.
If Lamar Jackson runs it 27 times again this week, over under 1.5 weeks that he's dead.
I was going to say, what's the odds on first player ever break both legs on the same play? I've never seen it, but I think there's a possibility it happens if they run him 27 times.
Assuming he doesn't die or break his legs, have we seen the last of Joe Flacco in purple?
Probably. I would say it's 65% that he is gone. I think there's a chance he comes back for one more year if Lamar, very average. Let's say Lamar gets the next 6 weeks or whatever's left, 5 weeks. I think if he's very average and looks like he is pretty far off from starting a full season, I think Joe comes back for one more.
More likely to succeed, Lamar Jackson in the NFL as a starter, Joe Flacco back next year, or John Harbaugh back next year?
Harbaugh back next year, I think, would be the favorite. Just because he's had so much success. You don't see an organization like Baltimore make a hasty decision like that. But I do think there's a chance he's gone.
Is this the other end of the teaser candidate with New England? Or do you not trust Lamar Jackson minus 4.5?
Oh, no, I do. I think last week kind of showed us what their plan is with him. They're not going to let him make huge mistakes.
Yeah, I can't imagine Oakland has a tremendous amount of success against Baltimore's defense.
And Oakland won last, so I think this is a letdown spot.
Yeah, they don't want to win.
That's what I mean. I think Gruden was happy they won, and he got Paul saying, "What are you doing?"
So Pats minus 3.5, Ravens minus 4.5.
Yeah, I like that.
Arizona goes to the Chargers. I said Chargers 12.5.
I said 10.
I got it. It opened 13. It's down to 12.
Yeah, too many points for me to pick a side. Chargers, you would think, good bounce back spot. Rosen has not been very good. They have gotten David Johnson going, though, so, 12.5 in the NFL. I'm not sure the Cards are the team, though, that I like catching that many.
It's a lot of points for an Anthony Lynn coach team to be giving somebody.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a stay away from me.
Yeah.
Very intrigued by these next couple games. Pitt at Denver. I said Steelers 3.5.
I said 4.
I got it. 3.5 open, down to 3.
I think I like Denver again. I think. I know Pittsburgh's on a roll. Jacksonville, I think they have the personnel that perfectly stacked Pittsburgh's offense. I know they lost, but I think there's a blueprint to follow. I know everyone doesn't have Jacksonville's team speed on defense, but that's the blueprint. And I think Denver has some similar pieces.
Denver's certainly going to get pressure on Roethlisberger.
I wish it was 3.5, obviously. I lean Denver, though.
Star it. See if we get it back at 3.5.
Are you on the same side?
Yeah, I really like the Broncos this week. I think Pittsburgh, not that it was their Super Bowl, but it was a revenge game from last year's playoffs. I like Denver.
I agree.
Now or wait?
Looking at it, looks like 66% is on Pittsburgh, so
Might as well wait to see if we get that half.
I agree.
Miami at Indy. I said Colts -6.
I said 6.5.
Somehow the Colts open 10.5. They're down to 9.
10.5 might be the biggest overreaction I've ever seen in the history of football. I like the Colts too, but come on.
Seeing the spread, it's almost an automatic Miami play for me.
Tannehill looks like he's starting too.
I mean, Indy's offensive line obviously has been great. Luck's been not hit in who knows how long. 5 weeks, is it?
Yes.
But their defense isn't 9-point favorite good.
That's my point. I think if you are building a point spread, I think we were in the ballpark. Indy's on fire, so give them another point. Then it should be 7.5. We're getting 2 points of value at least. I'm with you. Tundra's probably against us. He's drinking the blue Kool-Aid, but I think Miami keeps this within 10.
Dolphins +9 official.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the Colts win this game, but we are getting some points here.
Yeah.
Sunday night, Green Bay goes to Minnesota. I don't want to say must win, but very important game for both teams. I said Vikings 3.5.
Loser goes home, I think. I said 3. Vikes 3.
I get it to clinch the week. Open 4.5, down to 3.5.
I can't decide who I like here.
Man, I was really disappointed with Minnesota's offense on Sunday.
No.
I know their offensive line is not great, not very physical. But how much of the blame is Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, got to give him some of it, that's for sure.
That pick 6 was atrocious.
Really bad. When you're talking about quarterbacks, you take out the top 5 or 6, and then I'm not sure what quarterback is going to succeed with no running game and a bad offensive line. That's what I keep going back to.
I agree. I think Murray and Dalvin Cook need to be used more like Ingram and Kamara.
Agreed.
I don't love Murray, but he's got to get more carries.
I do think that you can run on Green Bay, and I do think you'll see them commit to the run more this week. I lean Minnesota. I don't want to give that look away, though.
No, I'm with you. Absolutely with you. And then Monday night, Tennessee at Houston. Somehow, Houston's won 7 games in a row.
They're not good. I watched them all week. They're very average. This is like a card trick they're playing.
I said Texans 6.
I said 4.5.
I got it. 6.5 down to 6.
I think I lean Tennessee here. I don't think these teams should be that far apart.
No.
The Texans maybe 6 is a spread you are giving to the Raiders, the Cardinals, or the Bills, or the Jets. There's no way they should be giving 6.5 versus Tennessee.
They're not 3.5 points better on a neutral field than Tennessee.
My one concern is Mariota's injury.
Oh, absolutely.
So, if we get to Sunday or Monday and he can feel his fingers and he's good to go, then I am on Tennessee.
Tennessee against the spread, 7-0 on Monday night.
Ooh, good one there.
So I think Tennessee could become a play Monday.
Agreed.
So we have the Bills +3, the Dolphins +9, Pats Ravens teaser, Pats 3.5, Ravens 4.5. We're holding to see if we can get 3.5 on Denver, and we're holding to see if we can get 3 on Carolina.
I like it.
With
I think.
stars next to Washington and Atlanta for tomorrow.
Yeah. Could be a big card.
Yeah, this would be one of our biggest NFL cards ever.
We're due for a good week. We've had a bad week last week, and we had 2 middling weeks before that.
Yep, 77 and 61. I feel like this is the time of the year, though, that we flip the switch.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hesitant just because we've liked the last few weeks so much, but maybe this is a good thing that we're hesitant.
Well, you have a great holiday. Great job by you today, and we'll talk soon.
Tip of the cap to the host. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
See you.